break into Bowman. Place the final device on the tank. Getting the scan to complete the link-up. Nice one, we're online. Something is off with the connection. I'm looking into it, but keep an eye out.
Midway City, an unregulated corporate haven in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The new land of opportunity. The only thing that matters here. Is the bottom line. Industrial espionage, sabotage, assassinations. Who gets into this line of work? It could be you.
Diving in 3, 2, 1.
My name is Alexander Damm, and I'm the animation director here at 10 Chambers. I started out at Grin with Ulf and Hjalmar and the guys way back. And after that I went to London to a company called Framestore, so worked in the VFX industry. Then came back to Stockholm and spent 6 years at Avalanche Studios. And before joining 10 Chambers I spent 4 or 5 years at Ubisoft Stockholm. I've always been interested in games and films, stuff like that. I had to do an internship during university. At that time, I ended up at Grin. And the first animation I did at Grin, I think it was either a run or a jump for Bionic Commando for Nathan Spencer. And I remember that vividly. Because I worked on it a lot. I got a lot of feedback from my lead, Lars Bonde, amazing guy. It made itself into the game as well, the jump. And it was fun and challenging. It has changed a lot and also not that much. You obviously have things like motion matching and AI driving stuff or neural networks driving locomotion, stuff like that. But in the end, the actual clip that you're using, yeah, you can hand key it or you can use mocap. The quality on mocap is better now than it was 20 years ago, but you still need to tweak that motion in the same way as before, and that program hasn't changed much at all. So yeah, it depends on exactly what you're working on, I think. Here at 10 Chambers we do use motion capture a lot. That's also because we're making a game that should feel authentic, realistic, you could say as well. It kind of makes sense for humanoids at least, for us to mocap that data. But we also do a lot of hand keying, of course. The main challenge is to capture what you need, right? Or what you will use in the end. And that's super hard, right? So I think we spent like at least 3, 4, 5 days just going through our shot list and making sure, specifying everything from, categories, locomotion or jumps, or if you want to do a takedown, 2 characters, all right? So you start planning that, what the move should look like. I like to specify the actual clip name as well, so be super specific. You can always go in and add more during the shoot day, of course. It makes it easier when you get the data back. You know exactly what clip you're expecting to get and what it should be. So I think that's the most challenging bit. And then of course on the day, to make sure you don't miss anything, like is the actor standing in the correct pose, is he shuffling his feet too much or too little, getting the correct attitude, all those things. It's a fun day, but yeah, you do get mentally exhausted after days like that. But usually we bring more than one animator to the shoot. So we have multiple eyes on each shot, basically. I mean, we were lucky to have Niklas on the shoot, which is a super experienced stunt actor and actor. So he has done this multiple times. With him, it's almost like, okay, we need to capture a timeline for aim. He knows exactly what he needs to do. So then it's more, we can spend more time on the creative part of it and not the technical, like the feet placement. We can say, okay, it should feel more like this or that. It can be a lot. Depends on how much you want to tweak it. So you need to make sure it's the correct length for what you need. The poses need to be corrected. The timing needs to be changed. You can spend months cleaning data. And then of course, it depends on how complex the thing is as well. A run cycle is much easier and quicker to do than a takedown with 2 characters. A cycle or a loop, so it's an animation that is designed to be able to loop, right? So it doesn't have a start or an end. So that could be a character standing in a place, looking around, or it could be a walk cycle. So you can play the short clip multiple times after each other. So the character can walk across a room, even if you only have 1 or 2 steps. Back in the days, I think we used to do like one step. If you can get more steps in, that's better. And then if you use motion matching, you can have a longer loop more naturally. It depends a little bit. Motion matching is basically a database of animation clips, and then you have like a search engine that picks the correct clip for the correct time. And that can be directed by sticks on the gamepad or AI, right? So an AI is telling an agent to move forward and then turn. So when it's time to turn, the system will look in the database and see first, the frame that it needs to switch on, and then which animation fits that frame the best, and that's motion matching. And you can make those systems more or less advanced as well. We don't animate doors, not yet, here at least. But like if you have small robots or a drone that's landing, stuff like that, that's more mechanical animation. We recently added a drill robot to the game. That was super fun for Nikki, one of our senior animators, to animate. It looks amazing, like walking up a door and then start to drill. And those things are usually very satisfying for an animator to do because you can create something quickly. And it's a made-up thing as well. Nobody knows how that would move. You want to make it authentic because you can see that it's mechanical, but it's usually very straightforward. You can play around a lot with it. So very satisfying to make those kind of animations, I think. Making a vault door feel massive, that's a tricky one, right? Because it needs to feel massive, but it can't be moving too slow, because if you have big and heavy things, they usually tend to move slower, or it's harder for them to change direction. But so, in that case, it would be, okay, it starts to move slowly, and then it will slow down as well. You don't really have that much to play with. But like if you would do a giant character, you could mocap that actually. If you would mocap it, you would ask the actor to do the action quicker in real life, and then you would slow it down in post. Basically makes the actor work harder, right, to stop his body part, the arms. So when you slow it down, it feels like it's heavier, because it takes more effort for him to slow down. So that's kind of how you try and make things heavier, so yeah, but it depends, of course. Yeah, I would say that there is a lot of differences between GTFO and Den of Wolf. Den of Wolf is more, it will be a more complex animation systems in there. I wouldn't say more bespoke animations, because they were super unique and bespoke animation in GTFO, but they weren't worked on as much as we are working on animations right now in Den of Wolves. And they didn't need to be in the GTFO either. So it's a fine balance of, how much work do you put in something, right? Until, for it to pay off, but not do too much work, because no one's going to notice. And it's going to be a lot more animations in Den of Wolf as well. More characters and faction, stuff like that. Different types of animations. We have humans, robots, flying things, and more than 2 legs. Yeah. The clip in first-person view is designed only for that camera. So usually, you might break the shoulders of the character to get the weapon in, and the arms going out of the frame correctly and how you want it. Versus for a third-person animation, it's the whole body, right? It needs to feel composed, needs to fit together everything. So then it's not as important that it fits somewhere near the face of the character, right? Just feel composed. With film and commercials, I would say that it's more linear, like the production. You still have the same, pre-production, concept phase, and whatever, and production, and all that stuff. But as an animator, you have a sequence of shots that you need to produce, and it's from one camera angle that's set. So, in that sense, you again design it for that camera, so you can cheat in different ways that we can cheat with games, because you need to see the whole character in third person. Yeah, in first person you can cheat, right? So that's one difference. Of course, in film and VFX, things will change as well. So you might finish a sequence or a shot, and then the director decides to change it, so you need to redo it. So the iteration process is similar. But to me, I remember it as, I felt that I knew when I was finished in VFX, whereas in games, yeah, you make a nice animation and then you play around with it for a while, and then the design might change later on for something else, which might affect this animation that's playing all the time. So it's a more organic and living development, I think. You want to have a concept for the character, and then anything else that can help with the character's attitude, right? So it can be music that you can play for the character. It could be a bio. You can start with that, and then I like to go, stand up and act, act out. Like a walk is a good start as well. A walk.
Do you put on the motion capture suit yourself then?
It happens. Yeah, for sure. The first trailer that we did, I think most of the clips were actually me in that suit. Bowman and a character in the chair. It helps to act it out. And then of course there might be coming things from the creative director, from Ulf, like this is how these guys should feel, this is the faction that they're part of, and there might be a story background, stuff like that. So you try to weave all of that together. And then of course collaborating with the game designers and everyone else to try and figure out what we need for the character.
And then it's just finished.
And then it's finished.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Do you want me to like elaborate the whole production? To try and figure out what type of animation you want to do, and actually try and focus on that a little bit. If you want a job in games, don't do film, don't do VFX type of animations. Like don't do a shot sequence with creatures and stuff like that. If you like FPS games, do an FPS weapon animation. do a couple of cycles. Of course, do some sequences if you want to, but try and make them a little bit gaming-oriented and stuff like that. I can't say all of them, right? I mean, it's always the latest animation. That's kind of, those are my favorites. Because you get used to the other ones as well, right? You have to be careful when you're working on a project for so long that you don't go back and change stuff that's working, right? You need to remember why they worked. So I usually, I get excited by new things. Let's say the robot then, the drill, yeah.
Mr. Bowman, your reservation at Manon Afis is in
Cancel the reservation. Reset the procedure.
Continued neuroprodding may severely damage the suspect.
Reset the procedure.
Yes, standing by.
Eject. I'm Mr. Bowman. Your subconscious was just spilling the beans about your recent Akajima district break-in. Let's continue. What were you hoping to find in the Nexus Sentinels? You mother... There's no use in fighting. I will get what I want. So that's how you found out about our Akajima vault. What were you looking for?
A key.
A key to what?
You really want to know?
Yes! What's the key for?
It's not what, Mr. Bowman. It's who. You see, just like me, you're caught here. You're caught in the den of wolves.